I'm making this video to talk about something I mentioned in my earlier videos that I made. I started saying that the reason why I bought this kind of TV is in this size is because it gives you a greater sense of immersion than a small OLED TV would do. And like that was as high of quality, like still 4K, but like a small one. See, I bought this great big LCD LED TV. I'm sorry, I know I said the wrong name of it in other videos. But the point is, I know I just called it LED TV in the other videos, which it is, but it's an LCD LED TV. This is not an OLED TV. So I'm sorry if anyone thought I meant it was an OLED. It's not. And I'm sorry that I only said LED TV in the other videos. I meant LCD TV. I don't know why I kept on just saying LED TV. Though the full term is LCD LED TV. So, but anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is what I also mentioned in that video is instead of buying a small OLED, I brought this great big LCD TV. Because having a bigger screen gives you a better sense of immersion. Like you feel more like like the sense of depth is a lot better with a bigger screen. But you're probably like, well, then why didn't you just buy a projector then? That would give you a giant screen. And yes, that definitely gives you a better sense of immersion. But the problem is, whenever I played games or anything on projectors, the sense of depth, the z-axis, has always felt kind of flat to me. Like how it looks right here. See, this looks flat. This image right here. It looks kind of flat. And you're like, well, then this TV always has it flat. But no, you'll see later. I'm going to play this video a little bit, and you'll see when it gets later into the video, it will go ahead and you'll have a really big sense of depth. But the point is, if I were to buy an OLED TV in this same size, then yes, I would get the same kind of immersion that this TV would get. But the thing is, it would be extremely expensive, $6,000 or more worth. That's a lot of money. So that's why I buy an LCD TV that way instead, because that way I can still get a TV that size and the same kind of immersion. It's just the blacks won't be so deep and stuff. So. But the thing is, this kind of LCD TV comes close though because it has full array local dimming. So that means it has a bunch of different zones that dim, but it's not as good as it'll never dim as good as a OLED would because an OLED can do every individual pixel. Well, this does zones, but the thing is, it has a whole bunch of them. So this gets close, and this also has off-axis viewing, so unlike other LCD TVs, you're not going to see the colors or mess up and stuff. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, yes, that's why I bought a big TV instead of a small OLED one, is the sense of immersion. And I didn't choose a projector because then the depth feels flat. And you'll see what I mean, because right now the image just seems like a regular image, just seems kind of flat. But you'll see when we play the video, the z-axis, the depth, will actually look a lot better. Watch this. This is just a regular show, so I'm going to just play this. And look at that. Look at that sense. Look at that depth. Look at how far into the TV we can see. It's going way back there. Look at that. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty good sense of depth. Here, I'm going to go back to that and just pause on that screen for a little bit. And then you guys will be able to tell what I'm talking about again in just a minute. I have to play it a little bit to get back to the spot, but so yeah. So here's that first grassy scene that we saw, and then there's all that sense of depth again. I mean, look how far I can see from the start here all the way over to those trees back there. Look at that. That's something that kind of depth I don't feel I don't see when I use a projector or my TV in my bedroom. But in this TV, Yes. It's like if you've ever used the, like I know I'm going to talk about Nintendo 3DS again, but for a different reason this time. If you've ever used the 3D slider and you're playing Super Mario 3D Land on there, it will go further into the screen. I mean, yes, the 3DS can also have stuff pop out of the screen for this 3D, but sometimes it will have things go further into the screen, which is what this TV is doing, which is just awesome. I really like that sense of depth. It gives you almost like a feeling, kind of like you're in a helicopter or like in an airplane, or kind of like if you were in at a roller coaster going up to the top just before you come down. It feels like truly, to me, it feels more like you're actually there than if it was flat. Because if it's flat, then it kind of feels like a picture. It doesn't feel like you're there to me. Now you might disagree with this. That's fine. I just wanted to show that there's that. But then let's change it to a game. Because now we've seen that shows do this, which is great. But what about games? Here, let's try a game. Here, I'm going to switch the input to the PS5, which I have on right down there. Now you're going to see a flat image first. See, this is what a flat image looks like. See, no depth, no z-axis. So you see, I'm going to start up this game over here, Genshin Impact, and we're just going to do the title screen, but you'll see that it'll have a great sense of depth. Not like this flat image that we see right here. So I'm going to go into Genshin Impact. So then you're going to see it start up here. Obviously still just flat images. Just wait till it gets to the title screen. And look at that sense of depth. Now you will notice some stuttering and juddering because it's trying to load down there with the loading bar. But the point is, look, the depth, look how great that sense of depth is. Look, it looks like I'm actually getting closer to those pillars. I mean, as the screen is moving, and you're like, well, Mario Kart does that, Mario Kart 64 and stuff. But the thing is, it does it in a way that it's not quite the same. I can't really explain it in a way that makes sense. But to me, this feels more like it's actual. Like it's an actual, because it's using actual 3D objects for this. Mario Kart 64, what they do is they use layering techniques to do the 3D. So there's actually a YouTube channel where they show this off, show it off, but I don't remember the name. But basically, like it has like something in front and then something in back, like this, to do a layering technique that looks 3D for when it's still on 2D images. But like they'll have something in front and then they'll have something in back, like that. Like the snowman in the Prape Snowland for the track. That's how they do it. I think it was on Boundary Leap or something. I don't remember or Boundary Break. Maybe it was Boundary Break. I think that's what it's called for the Mario Kart 64 thing. But anyways, what I'm trying to show is that you can see how great the sense of depth is. Look, it actually looks like I can go over to the door almost. And like if I could just like go through the TV, I'd be able to do it. And then like I'm not moving for it to do it either. See, it's just like because now we're just still, and it's like that. I mean, it was moving earlier, but we're not doing it now, and look, it still looks like that. So yes, that's what I mean by a sense of depth. By a sense of like it feels more immersive. And because if I had a TV that's small, like I do in the bedroom, then it doesn't feel like this because I've tried playing this same game on there and it just doesn't feel like that. So yeah, that's what I meant by a greater sense of immersion. Anyways, hopefully that gives you guys an idea of what I mean by a better sense of immersion. And I haven't I've never had any TV give me this sense of immersion before, or sense of depth, to be more accurate. So yeah, so it's pretty nice about this TV. Um, but yeah. Oh yeah. What else was like? And another reason I chose an LCD TV, it shows it as an LCD TV, is because it doesn't get burn in. You're not going to get burn in from this kind of TV. But an OLED, depending on the OLED, some OLEDs will and some OLEDs won't. It depends on the OLED TV and what refresh rate you have it set to, and if it even lets you set the refresh rate. Because like I was saying in the other videos, Vincent from HDTV Test, he showed that this one type of OLED TV where you can set the refresh rate and then it doesn't get the burn in. Anyways, because the way that because by being able to set the refresh rate on the other type of on that one OLED TV he mentions or shows off is he mentions the reason why is because by having a certain faster refresh rate or refresh rate set to a certain way, it makes it so it just barely vibrates the pixels just at the right times if you set it to the right refresh rate, and then that way it goes ahead and or not, or it refreshes the pixels. I don't know the best way to explain it because I don't remember it entirely. But basically, it makes it so they don't just stay stale, and then that way, from a stale image getting burned in, it refreshes it, and that way you don't get the burn in if you set it to that refresh rate that he mentions. Because he said he tried it over 24 hours straight. I think he said for some things on when you see set it that way and it wasn't getting the burn in, or maybe that was a different OLED TV. I don't remember. Like I said, it's been a while. But yeah, so if you watch his videos, and one of them he shows off how to set the refresh rate, and then if you do that for an OLED TV, you won't get the burn in. But the thing is, OLED TVs are still really expensive, so that's why I chose this LCD TV. Because this one gets close to the darks of an OLED, but it obviously it'll never get as good. It just gets close. So, and it won't get ever as close as a mini LED TV would either. But still, and skin tones was another reason. This TV gives very natural looking skin tones. But yeah. Anyways, I know I didn't show off the skin tones in the video. You guys can try that for yourself if you want, or just watch Vincent's videos on HDTV Test. He shows off that they have very natural looking skin tones for this type of TV. The Sony X950H TV, or at least that's what it's called here in America. I don't know what it's called in Europe. I mean the number and stuff. But yeah, or any other country for that matter. But yeah, and so yeah, that's it looks pretty nice. Hopefully that you guys understand what I'm talking about now when I talk about immersion. That should be it. I know it's kind of a shorter video, but I think you guys might want to know. All right, and by immersion I mean sense of depth, the Z-axis. I don't mean just in general. I don't. To me, it'll never be as immersive as like VR or something like that. By that I mean virtual reality. So. Anyway, because virtual reality goes all around you. Now, if you had a TV that could go all the way around in a circle, then maybe. But, it's not quite the same thing. But yeah, but this is like the second closest. So yeah, very nice, very immersive, a lot of depth. You're like going into the TV. It doesn't have depth coming out. But sometimes it will almost look like some images are popping out. Sometimes it depends on how dark the background is for the image. Because this image with really dark background, sometimes there have been times where I almost thought it was popping out of the screen, like not as good as the 3DS, but like just a little bit similar. So, anyways, obviously it'd never be as good as popping out as a 3DS would. It doesn't have 3D. I mean, it's not. This isn't a 3D TV. But like images sometimes will feel like almost like they are because the sense of depth is so good on this TV. But most of the time it feels more that it goes further and further into the TV. Like let's say like you had a mountain, right? Like they always talk about in Breath of the Wild. Let's say that that this TV is the mountain, right? Now let's say that this controller, this Joy-Con controller, is you the person. So obviously in Breath of the Wild, you can always see the mountains and you can get there. But the thing is, that sense of depth that we're seeing on this TV, it'll help you see the stuff in between you to the mountain. Now, obviously, you'll never be able to see everything between you and the mountain because the TV doesn't have that crazy kind of depth. But it does have good enough depth that you'll see more of between you to the mountain than you would on your typical small TV, or on just typical TVs. Because we saw the sense of depth. We saw that it had a really long sense of depth. Otherwise, it's more like if you had to have this sense of depth be like from the controller, and you just see you see the mountain, but then you don't see as much in between. It's like part of it's cut off, like where my hand is. What's a better way to say? Kind of like this, say this part's cut off where my hand is, and then all you can see is the controller at the spot after the hand, and then the TV. You don't see the in between. So that's why sense of depth is kind of a big deal, because it feels more realistic, like the way you would actually see things in real life. Now, obviously, there's always a draw distance in games, so there's always going to be some kind of limitation, and it depends on the TV too, or screen or display you use. I mean, but the point is that's why I chose this kind of TV. You can see the in between, or the depth, really well. It makes a big difference. So yeah. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show. That should be the end of the video. Okay, bye.